Now, these are some stories for my grandchildren. Their names are Mathew, Jack, and Carli Barbara. They love the old Indian stories about the old days. They love when Grammy tells those stories, so I'm making this tape especially for you. And the first story I want to tell you is about how animals got their names. It was the beginning of the world, and the Great Spirit called all the animal people together, and he told them there was going to be a change, that a new kind of people were coming to live on the earth. So all of you animal people must have names, the Great Spirit said. Some of you have names now, but some of you haven't. Tomorrow, all of you will have names that shall be kept by you forever. And in the morning, when the first light of day shows in the sky, come by my teepee and choose your names. The first to come may choose any name that he or she wants. The next person can take another name, and then the next person can take another name. And that's the way it'll go until all the names are taken. And to each person I will give work to do. Well, that talk made the animal people very excited. Everybody wanted to have a good name, just like Mathew, Jack, and Carli Barbara. They're very good names. And the Great Spirit was going to give them power to rule some tribe or some part of the world. So everybody wanted to get up early and hurry to the Great Spirit's teepee. Coyote boasted that no one would be ahead of him. And he walked among the people, and he told them that he would be the first one. Coyote didn't like his name. He wanted another name. Nobody respected his name. His name was Imitator. He didn't like it, but it did fit him. He was called that because he liked to imitate people. He thought that he could do anything that any other person did, and he thought he could do it even better. He would ask a question, and when the answer was given, he would say, "I already knew that. I didn't need you to tell me that." But such smart talk did not make any friends for Coyote, nor did he make friends by the foolish things he did and the tricks he played on people. Well, let me see, he thought. Tomorrow I'll have my choice of the 3 biggest names. Those names are Mountain Person, Grizzly Bear, who will rule the 4-footed people, Eagle, the big bird, who will rule the birds, and Good Swimmer, Salmon. Salmon will be the chief of all the fish. Now Coyote's twin brother Fox, who at the next day would take the name Soft Fur, just laughed. "Don't be so sure, Imitator," said Fox. "Maybe you'll have to keep the name you have. People hate that name. Nobody wants it." "Well, I'm tired of that name too," said Coyote in an angry voice. "Let somebody else get it. Let some old person get it. Somebody who can't win in war. I'm going to be a great warrior. Let me tell you this, brother. I'll make you beg me when I'm called Grizzly Bear or Eagle or Salmon." "Your strong words don't mean nothing," said the Fox. "You better go back to your teepee and get some sleep, or you won't even wake up in time to choose any name." Coyote didn't like it. He was mad. He stalked off to his teepee. He told himself that he would not sleep any that night. He would just stay awake. So he went into the teepee and he called his 3 sons. 3 sons were hungry, but Coyote had brought them nothing to eat. Their mother, who was after the naming day was known as Mole, the mound digger, sat on her foot at one side of the doorway. Mole was a good woman and a good mother. She was always loyal to her husband in spite of his mean ways, his mischief-making, and his foolishness. She was never jealous. She never talked back. She never replied when he talked mean to her. And she looked up and said, "Have you no food for our children? They're starving." said Coyote. "I'm no common person to be addressed in that manner. I'm going to be a great chief tomorrow. Did you know that? I'm going to get a new name. I'm going to be called, Grizzly Bear. And then I can devour my enemies, and I shall no longer need you. You're getting too old, and you're ugly, and I'll need a new wife to be the wife of a great warrior and a chief." But Miss Mole said nothing. She turned to her corner of the lodge and collected a few old bones, which she put in the kicking basket. And with 2 sticks she lifted hot stones from the fire and dropped them into the basket, and soon the water was boiling and there was some kind of weak soup made out of the bones for the hungry children. "You better gather plenty of wood for the fire," Coyote said. "I'm going to sit up all night." So Mole, being the good wife she was, did obey, and then she and the children went to bed. Coyote sat watching the fire. Half of the night went by. Oh, he got very sleepy. His eyes grew very heavy. So he picked up 2 little sticks, and he put them inside his eyelids to hold his eyelids apart. Now I can stay awake, he thought. But before long he was fast asleep, even though his eyes were wide open. And the sun was high in the sky when Coyote woke up. But for Mole, he wouldn't even have woke up then. But Mole called him, "Coyote, get up, get up!" She called him after she had returned with the name from the spirit chief's lodge. Mole did love her husband. She did not want him to have a big name and be a powerful chief, for then she thought he might leave her. That was why she didn't wake him up at daybreak. But she didn't tell him that. And then, only half awake and thinking it was early morning, Coyote jumped at the sound of Mole's voice and ran right over to the teepee of the Great Spirit. None of the other animals were there. Coyote laughed. "I'm the first one here," he said, so happy. And blinking his sleepy eyes, he walked into the teepee. I'm going to be Grizzly Bear," he announced in a big, strong voice. "That's going to be my name." But the Great Spirit said the name Grizzly Bear was already taken at dawn. Oh, then I'll be called Eagle," said Coyote, and his voice was not quite so loud. "Eagle flew away at sunup," said the Great Spirit. Oh, then I could be called Salmon," Coyote said in a voice that was not very loud at all. "For the name Salmon has been taken," explained the Spirit Chief. "All the names except your own's been taken. Nobody wanted to steal your name." Oh, poor Coyote. His knees grew weak. He sank down beside the fire that blazed in the great teepee. "You must keep your name," said the Great Spirit. "It's been a good name for you. You slept long because I wanted you to be the last one here. I have important work for you to do, much for you to do before the new people come. You are going to be the chief of all the tribes. Many bad creatures inhabit the earth. They bother and kill people, and the tribes cannot increase as I wish. These people-devouring monsters cannot keep on like that. They must be stopped. It's for you to conquer them. For doing that, for all the good things you do, you will be honored and praised by the people that are here now and those that come afterwards. But if you do foolish and mean things, you'll be laughed at and despised. That's something I can promise you. But to make your work easier, I will give you magic powers. It's your own special magic power. No one else will ever have it. When you're in danger, whenever you need help, just call to your power. It will do as much for you as it can. It will change you into any form, into anything you wish. And to your twin brother, the fox, and to others, I will give some power too. It's strong power. With that power, Fox can restore your life should you be killed. Your bones may be scattered all over, but if there's one hair left on your body, Fox can make you live again. Others of the people can do the same with their magic. So do well the work that I laid on your trail." So, Coyote was a chief after all, and he felt really good again. And after that day, his eyes were different. They grew a little slant from being propped open that night when he sat before his fire. And the new people, the Indians, they got a slight slant to their eyes from Coyote. And after Coyote had gone, the Great Spirit thought it would be nice for the animal people and the coming new people to have the benefit of a spiritual sweat house. But all of the animal people had names, so there was nobody to take the name of the Warmer. So the wife of the Spirit Chief, she took that name. She wanted the people to have the sweat house, for she pitied them. She wanted them to have a place to go and to heat themselves up and to be warm, where they could pray for strength and good luck and strong medicine, and where they could fight sickness and get relief from their troubles. The ribs, the frame poles of the sweat house, represent the wife of the Great Spirit. And as she's a spirit, she cannot be seen, but she's always near. Songs to her are sung by all the people even now. She hears them. She hears what her people say, and in her heart there is love and pity. And that's how the animals got their names. I know how Mathew, Jack, and Carli Barbara got their names. I remember all the talks that their mom and dad did. What should we name them? What should it be? And then one day, Cindy said to Enoch, "I think I have the most perfect name for our perfect boy. I think he should be called Mathew Jack." And then when Carli was born, she said the same thing. Enoch, I think I have the perfect name. We should call our lovely girl Carli, and then we could name her Barbara after your grandma. And so it was that Mathew Jack and Carli Barbara came to be. Now this is a story about Fox and Coyote and a whale. Fox had a very beautiful wife. He was very much in love with her, but she had stopped caring for him. Fox was a great hunter, and every day he brought home food and fine skins for his wife to make into robes and clothes. He did not know that while he was away hunting, his wife would sit beside the pond and sing love songs to the water. Painting her face with bright colors, she would pour out her love thoughts in song. And Coyote came to visit his twin brother, and he soon noticed that his sister-in-law was acting very strange. And he said to his brother, "Brother, I think your wife is in love with somebody else." But Fox could not believe that she loved anybody but him. He was so blinded by his love for her. And then one day, he and Coyote returned from a hunt, and she was not in the lodge. So Fox went to look for her. He walked down towards the river, and there he saw his wife. She was sitting on the river bank, singing a love song to the river. She did not see Fox. He just watched her. And as Fox watched, the water began to rise. And slowly it rose higher and higher and higher, and soon out of the middle of the river appeared a big monster, like a big fish. The monster was the spirit of the water, a whale, and it swam over to the shore. And as it touched the dry land, it changed into a tall, handsome man with long, braided hair. And the monster man began to sing to the wife of Fox. Oh, Fox felt so bad. He turned away. He went back to his teepee. He said nothing to anyone. He just lay there and wondered, how can I win back my wife's love? And he worried about it as day after day went by, and she grew pale and thin, and nothing that Fox could do could make her happy. Her thoughts were always with the man who was not a man but was a whale. And one day, when Fox and Coyote came home from hunting, she was gone, and the fire in the lodge was cold. And Fox called out over and over, "Wife, darling, where are you?" But he got no answer, and his heart was very heavy. A few days later, Fox looked up the river and saw a very odd-shaped canoe coming. It was only half a canoe. 2 water maidens were standing in it, rocking from side by side, and they were singing, "We come for food, food for the chief's stolen wife. The food water does not suit her, that's why we come. We need food to give her life." And as the water maidens approached, Fox and Coyote hid in a teepee. And the maidens beached the half-canoe and came into the lodge, and they began to pick up dried meat to take to the stolen wife. Coyote and Fox sprang from their hiding place, caught the maidens, and then Fox said, "Where is my wife? What have you done with her, and how can I get her back?" But the maidens were silent. And then the 2 brothers said, "You better answer us if you know what's good for you." And so one of the maidens said, "To find the person who stole her, you must go over the big falls and then go under the water. His lodge is under the water, a dangerous trip for people like you. Every trail is watched, and even if you get there, the mighty whale chief will kill you. He's really bad." The water maidens had told all they knew. So Coyote and Fox dressed in the maidens' dresses and started down the river in that half-canoe. And standing on the sides of the strange craft, they rocked it back and forth as they had seen those girls do. And they rowed it down the river and then over the roaring falls. "Let me do all the talking," Fox said to Coyote. "I know better what to say." So down through the pouring water, down through the flashing water, they shot with that half-canoe. The thunder of the falls hurt their ears, and then suddenly they were landing at a great encampment, a great camp of water people, a strange kind of people to them. All the people were strange except for Mouse. Mouse was there. She knew them, and they knew her. Fox jumped ashore. Coyote followed, tripped, touched the water, and Mouse laughed. said Mouse. "Coyote, you nearly fell into the water." "Shh, don't say anything," said Fox. "Say nothing. If you say nothing, we will pay you well." But some of the water people had heard. "What did you say?" they said. "Nothing," Mouse said. Nothing. I was just joking." "Yes, you did say something," said a water person. "You said the coyote nearly fell into the water. You can't fool me." But Coyote said, No, I never said that. No, I did not say that." And the water people knew she was a fickle person, and they did not think much about her because she went everywhere just to steal. She went everywhere. That's why she understood all the different animal languages. So carrying packs of dried meat and berries that they had brought with them, Coyote and Fox made their way to the lodge of Whale, the chief. He and the stolen wife sat side by side in the lodge. The wife was glad to get the meat and the berries. That was her kind of food. So Fox and Coyote kept those dresses over their faces until everybody was asleep. And then, when everything was quiet, Fox slipped up to Whale and cut off that monster's head with a flint knife. And then Coyote picked up the stolen wife, and they ran for the broken canoe. The noise they made awoke the whole camp, and the people rushed out of their lodges to see Coyote carrying off Fox's wife, and Fox close behind, carrying the head of their chief. So the people chased him, but the three got into the broken canoe, and Fox quickly put Coyote and the woman into his pipe. And then Fox pushed the half canoe into the water, and it shot up the river's surface below the falls. And there Fox landed. He took Coyote and his twice-stolen wife out of the medicine pipe, and the head of the whale monster he threw into the water. "In the big water shall whale monster stay from now on," said Fox. "No longer can he live in the small waters, in the ponds and the lakes and the rivers. Now he must live in the ocean." And as Fox and his wife and brother walked up the bank to their teepees, the headless body of the whale monster turned over and over in the depths of the river, spilling it with such force over the great rocks. And the wife of the fox became very happy to be back with her husband again. But since that day, the whale monster had to live in the ocean, and so he has lived ever since then. Oh, I'm telling you, Carli, Barbara, have you ever seen a whale? They're very, very big. They're so big that they're almost as big as your barn, or as my barn. They got big tails, and they got big heads, and they blow water out the top of them. I'm telling you, in some ways they look almost like monsters. Matter of fact, speaking of monsters, wait till I tell you this one. This is the one about Coyote fighting some monsters. Coyote was far from his home. For many days he had been traveling towards the sunrise. He had crossed the Rocky Mountains and was in the Great Plains country. Horse lived there. Now Horse was a dangerous monster, and he was way bigger than any horse is today. And as soon as he saw Coyote, Horse took off running after them. And they ran and ran over the plains. And every time Coyote looked back, Horse was getting closer. And Horse became very scared. He cried, help me, do something for me." And his magic power heard. It made 3 trees. They grew out of the ground straight ahead of him, and just in time, for Horse was about to catch him. So Coyote jumped right into the first tree. He laughed because he thought he was safe, but his laugh was short. Horse began to cut down the tree with his strong teeth and his great hooves. Horse made that tree splinters fly, and soon the tree was creaking, and then it cracked, and then it groaned, and then whack! It crashed down to the ground, and Coyote went sailing. He hit the ground hard, and Horse thought he had him. But Coyote staggered to his feet and jumped up into the second tree. And then Horse cut down that second tree, and Coyote had another terrible fall, and Horse almost caught him. But Coyote skipped and dodged and finally jumped up into the third tree. "Now what can I do?" he said. "I'm in a bad fix." And Horse began to chop this last tree out from under him. Oh, wait, I'm not ready to die," he said to the Horse. "Before you kill me, wait, let me smoke my pipe that I like so well." And the Horse felt sorry for Coyote. After all, he was going to kill him. So he said, "Okay, you can have 1 smoke, but that's all. And then after that, I'm going to kill you." So puffing on his pipe, Coyote spoke to his medicine. and his medicine gave him a big whip. And Coyote jumped on his enemy's broad back and struck fiercely with the whip. Horse was surprised. He hee-hawed, he bucked, he whirled around and around. He stood on his hind feet and on his front feet, and he threw himself and he rolled. He tried all his tricks. But Coyote stayed with him. He kept smacking Horse with that medicine whip. He whipped that horse until the monster's head was battered and his eyes were swollen shut. And after a while, Horse could not buck and fight any more. He was tired out. Now it was him begging for mercy. Please, please have some mercy for me. You've beaten me up so bad. So Coyote hopped off his back and looked at him. Horse was changed. He was not big now. He was not dangerous now. He was smaller, much smaller. Coyote had beaten him down. Well, from this day on, said Coyote, you will be for people to ride. Only when they first ride you will you be bucking and be mean. Even old men will be able to sit on you, and old women will use you for carrying around their camp things. On you they will put their heavy packs of roots and berries and meat. So you just stay there now and do good for the people. And he left the horse standing there, and he went on. His way went past a cave. It was the home of a dog, who was big and a ferocious monster, and Dog rushed right out of that cave. Coyote ran. Coyote stumbled and fell into a mole hole, and that made him think of his small, faithful wife, Mole. So making himself small, he crawled into the hole, and there was Mole herself. Make your underground trails, Coyote said. Make many of your tunnels. Hurry up, hurry up. So Mole set to work. She dug very fast, for Dog was digging to get at her husband. She dug many tunnels just as Coyote had ordered, and Dog soon uncovered Coyote, who then resumed his usual form and said, Wait, wait, wait. Please, Dog, don't kill me yet. Let me smoke my pipe first. I love my pipe. Dog, knowing he was going to kill Coyote, said, Well, okay, you can have one smoke. So Coyote smoked. And as he sucked on his pipe, Coyote smoked to his magic, or spoke to his magic, and it gave him an armful of stones. So Coyote took a stone and hit that Dog, and then he ran off. Oh, Dog was mad. He howled with pain and rage, and he set off running after Coyote. But Dog stumbled over one of Mole's tunnels and fell, and then Coyote hit him with another stone. Dog did not know that Mole had been busy changing the ground there, and every time he came to a tunnel, he fell and stumbled. And every time he went down, Coyote ran over and hit him in the head with a stone. And that's the way it went. And in a little while, Dog was so tired and bruised that he could not take another step. Please, he said, please, please, let me take a rest. But Coyote hit him one more time, and out of the monster's body ran a little small dog, a little dog like Maxie. Oh, he was so cute and so small. He had fluffy little hair and a fluffy little tail. Now, said Coyote, you will be the most faithful animal the new people would have. Even old men and old women would own you. Even children like Mathew, Jack, and Carli, Barbara will own you. And you will both fear and like your owners. And never must you attack a stranger unless that stranger is treating you bad. So Coyote left that little dog. And pretty soon he came to a big tree, which he started to pass around. But the tree bent and caught him with its branches. Coyote wiggled. He squirmed, but he could not get loose. So he whispered to his medicine. And all at once a great strength came to Coyote. And with a mighty jerk, he tore the tree apart. He tore it into two forks like unfinished canoes, and then he was free. And looking around, he noticed on the ground the bleached bones of travelers who the tree monster had eaten. So Coyote said, After today, you will not be able to hurt anyone. No one will fear you. You will provide wood for the new people. But because your limbs are pitchy and so easy to burn, all the trees that are forked will be the kind that the old women will go for firewood. That wood will be easy for them to gather. And from that place, Coyote's trail took him into a deep canyon. And as he walked deeper and deeper, he felt himself being swallowed. Well, scared, he tried to turn back, but he couldn't move. He was begging, don't eat me, please don't eat me. And then the sound of his voice made the canyon monster hesitate, so Coyote spoke to his power, and it placed a long tree on his shoulders. And Coyote swung the tree across the mouth of the cannon monster, and then he laughed. "You can't hurt me now, canyon monster," he said. "You will no longer be a person-eating monster," Coyote told him. "The new people will not be afraid of you. When they're too lazy to walk down your throat, they'll walk on trees thrown across your mouth." And Coyote walked away from there, and then he came to a little ditch. He stared into it. Something was in there. He went to go in. Something bumped and pricked his back. He couldn't see anything behind him, and he ran. But the strange jabbing and bumping did not stop. So he stood still and spoke to his power, and it gave him a flint knife. He slashed back over his shoulder. The knife struck something solid, and there was a loud groan and a heavy thud. Coyote saw what had been bothering him. On the ground was Elk, and that monster was dead, and its power to stay invisible was gone. So Coyote made a small elk from the big elk's body. Then he said to the elk, "New people will soon be here. You will not be able to hurt them any more. You will become the helpless of all creatures, and that must be so that you cannot hurt people." And Coyote was very tired of fighting monsters. He said, "Oh, I need some rest from fighting these monsters and killing these monsters. I mean, even babies are monsters in this strange land. I think I just want to go back to my own home and rest." And so Coyote went home to rest. And that's what I want you to do now. I want you to rest. Mathew Jack, close those beautiful blue eyes of yours. Take a rest for the night. Carli Barbara, close those beautiful brown eyes of yours. Take a rest for the night. Go to sleepy, sleepy. Grammy loves you. Go to sleepy, sleepy. Shh.